Hey, welcome to Did You Watch Survivor Last Night? My name is Jake Scheidel. This is a podcast about reality television and friendship in which I ask my best friend, Thomas Powell, if he did indeed watch a certain reality show. Hey, Thomas, how you doing today?
Jake, I am excited for movies' biggest night. The magic of the movies.
The Oscars!
It's the Oscars tonight.
Hey, is The Lion King nominated for any Oscars? Because there's a guy in it called that already.
It's actually the only film nominated for Best Picture.
Finally. I've been waiting for that. I've been waiting for a clean sweep of the Oscars.
It's the only one nominated for all the technical effects, too, because we all like the way that it looks.
Yeah, because it's good. It's photorealistic, which is a word that exists and is accurate. Thomas, do you have any beverages with you right now?
Just drinking some coffee.
Coffee. Classic. A classic cup of coffee.
A classic beverage for a classic man.
Dana, or whatever that guy's name is.
I've always said, boys have swag. Men have class.
You always say that? You're always saying that?
I'm always saying it.
I would say that boys have swag and men have orange dreamsicle rain total body fuel.
I have heard you say that on more than one occasion. And I think it's as true today as it was then.
So I just, I logged in, I created an account on a Flash gaming website, I guess, and it asked me what my gender was, and there was a little person in a dress and a person not in a dress, and I was like, well, I know that I'm a man because I drink orange dreamsicle rain total body fuel. That's how I know.
Orange dreamsicle rain total body fuel 10. It's not for women.
I was going to say, the thing is, it's not for women. The Dr. reigns supreme. It's good. I would highly recommend orange dreamsicle flavor anything. And the total body fuel, they're paying me. That's their slogan.
You can tell we're influencers now because we're doing paid advertising.
Yeah, you can support us on our Patreon, where I'll drink 1 million different energy drinks in one day and see what happens.
And die.
And then I'll die.
It's the kind of commitment we have to our listeners.
The Patreon is for my life insurance plan.
Yep. Oh, don't say that.
I think transparency is important when it comes to podcasting.
Yeah, well, great. Now well, you won't go to jail because you're dead, but now I'm going to jail.
Death is the ultimate jail.
I'm getting a tattoo that says death is the ultimate jail.
I'm gonna get a tattoo that's a skull and crossbones behind jail bars.
Oh.
And it's gonna be huge and on my chest.
Ah, that's so metaphorical.
Do you get it, though? Because it's really clever. Death is the ultimate jail. What a t-shirt. Speaking of pirates, Thomas, did you watch Survivor Heroes vs. Villains last night?
I see the passion emerge, and I'm your villain. But serious, you're so serious. Or like a waiter eating the rich, but taking their tea.
Yeah, I did.
This episode was called Loose Lips Sink Ships. What are your thoughts on this episode title?
I liked this one.
It's good, because it is the third episode in a row with ship in the title. Did you notice that?
I did not, but yeah, now I do because you pointed it out.
It's good. I like it. Makes me excited for next week, Survivor Season 40, Winners at War. This episode first aired on...
Warriors at Win.
Winning! Oh man, there's going to be so many Charlie Sheen jokes on this show for the next 6 months.
No, there won't.
This episode first aired on May 13th, 2010. How old would you have been?
I would have been 18 years old, Jake.
I would have been 19 years old that date. How many viewers do you think it got?
I think the finale got 13 million viewers.
13.28 million viewers.
Yep. I was going to say 14, and I was like, they wouldn't pick up that many if, like... I think there would be some people that would come back that maybe fell out, didn't watch the last couple episodes just to see who would win.
Right.
But not enough to bring it up to another million.
Yeah, and this was an interesting time, too, in television. Like, because DVRing and on-demand wasn't a huge thing yet. Like, it wasn't the go-to thing yet. And also Survivor was kind of on the downswing in terms of viewers. And they are still, actually, now that I think about it. It's constantly fewer viewers every year.
I mean, that's just the nature of network television at
True.
this point, though.
40
Smaller,
years.
I mean, there are just fewer people watching live broadcasts of stuff.
True. The only live broadcast I watch is Friday Night SmackDown.
Yeah, well, I'm watching those XFL broadcasts now, to be honest.
Are you watching the XFL?
Dude, the XFL's good.
I have a hard time believing that.
It is. I was shocked. I'm as shocked as you are, but they put in some rules and like broadcast stuff that's actually good. Because the problem with the XFL the first time around was that the way that they made up for it being not quite as good a product as the NFL in terms of like the play was by having a bunch of dumb, trashy shit, like being like, oh, we're going to have a bunch of like cheerleaders that we're going to pretend might get naked but won't. Yeah. And then they did shit like do things that would flagrantly attempt to get players injured, which like,
oh, cool.
Yeah, no, that's not cool.
That's just regular football though.
Yeah, so now they're actually on the other end of the spectrum. They changed the kickoff in such a way that is actually, I think, more fun and way less likely to get people hurt.
How did they what did they do to change it?
So what they do is they have the blockers for the return guy and the kick coverage team. They all line up like they're basically lined up against each other at midfield, and they can't advance, like they can't move until the guy returning the kick catches the ball. So what that eliminates is those guys flying at each other full force.
Yeah.
Because that's where injuries happen. Like injuries most frequently happen on kickoffs.
Huh.
And I mean compared to any other kind of play. And it also eliminates holds and blocks in the back because there's not as much time that you have to set things up. So I actually like that quite a bit. They got rid of extra points. You have to do some sort
it's
of
like
conversion. You can do a 1 or a 2 or a 3. From the 2-yard line, it's a 1-point conversion. From the 5, it is a 2, and from the 10, it is a 3. I like that a lot.
That is cool.
It's a constantly running clock, so the games are shorter.
Ooh, I love that.
I know. Well, yeah, that's the thing is they wanted to make it like different, which is good. You have to differentiate yourself. And the other thing that they have that I thought was going to annoy me, but I actually really like, is they have the coaches and the players all mic'd up, so you get to hear the coaches talk to the players.
Oh, that's fun.
And like, yeah, explain what they're doing, like that kind of stuff. Like, I think that's actually really neat. So yeah, I enjoyed the game that I watched yesterday. I will be watching again.
Okay. I'm gonna check it out.
I am as surprised as anyone to be saying that.
Yeah, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, there was just so much news about like concussions and stuff in the NFL, and I was like, I just can't bring myself to support this. A game I already don't love watching. Like the clock stoppage was also a huge thing for me. It's just like,
yeah, I mean those games they stretch them out for as many commercials as possible.
Well, of course,
and it does get really annoying. But I mean, people are still going to get hurt. It's football.
Yeah,
like,
that's
you can't ultimately the problems with the game. But I appreciate that they've at least added some stuff to help with that.
Here's the most important question I have about the new XFL. What are their names on their jerseys? Does anyone hate anyone?
Oh, man, I wish He Hate Me were there. That was the one good thing that they did.
It's just regular names now.
Just regular old names.
Boo, not watching, not interested anymore.
Yeah, the only things that the old XFL had over this one were He Hate Me, and they had Jim Ross calling football games, and more importantly, they had Jesse Ventura calling football games.
That is very good. I do like that a lot.
Yep, it ruled.
Can you get the XFL on the WWE network?
No, it's on ESPN.
Oh, it is?
So that's where they broadcast it.
Sorry, the old XFL.
Oh, no. I think NBC has the rights to that.
Vince McMahon, what are you doing?
You wouldn't want to watch it.
I just want to hear... well, this is what YouTube exists for. I want to hear JR and Jesse Ventura call football games. I think that sounds very fun.
Yeah, that part was good. The rest of it was bad.
I guess I'll just have to tune into AEW Dynamite on TNT.
AEW football.
AEW football.
Kenny Omega is running the dang ball.
I'd watch it. Okay, let's get into this episode of Survivor. We haven't talked about it at all.
No, we probably should, right?
We probably should. We have a lot to get to today. At camp, Parvati is worried that she's next, and then they get a box from Sprint, and there's a phone in it with videos from their loved ones. Do you remember this phone?
I was waiting for that product placement.
My favorite...
And they delivered.
The genius thing about product placement like this, and with the Sears catalog earlier, is like, they still have that Sears crate that they sit on at camp. So every single episode, you see Sears. It's not just the one reward challenge. It's great. Do you remember this phone at all? Did you have this phone?
I did not have this phone. Did
you know anybody who had this phone?
I mean, maybe. I don't remember anyone having it. My first phone was a... It was one that had like a mirror on the front of it, which was a very dumb gimmick.
But like a actual mirror, right? Not like a phone mirror. I don't know. I kind of remember that. Yeah.
My sister had the most memorable of all those era of phones, which was the Motorola Razr.
I was gonna say Razr. I don't think I ever had a Razr, unfortunately, but
it's the best flip phone of all time for obvious reasons.
I'm trying to remember.
I didn't have a chocolate. I believe mine was an LG, but I did not have a chocolate.
Oh, was mine a chocolate? Was that the one that like not flipped up, but like swiped up, and then it revealed the keyboard?
Yeah. Yes, and they had several delicious colors.
I think I had a red one.
Phones were bad back then.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. I just got very distracted looking up phones from the early 2010s and 2000s.
You know why you got distracted?
Why?
It's because you be on that damn phone.
These dang millennials. At the reward challenge, it's the loved ones challenge.
I am
finally.
sad now that I can't say that everyone on Survivor was living in the moment, not a phone in sight.
It's really unfortunate that happened. This would be a flawless season otherwise if it weren't for those damn phones.
It's because you be on that phone.
What can you do? Kids these days, it's the loved ones challenge. They have to scoop water from the ocean and then toss it to their loved one. Colby yells at his brother a lot, which was very funny.
It was really funny. Yeah, Kobe, definitely not his fault.
I really
that they weren't doing well.
I really liked whenever Colby's brother would toss him the water and do a really good job and yell, "Colby!"
Yep.
Jerry wins.
R.I.P. Colby.
I mean, in more ways than one. Jerry wins and brings Parvati and Sandra on the reward with her, where they all agree to vote together. I mean, that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Russell was not happy about getting left out.
God, Russell fucking sucks.
He sure does.
Back at camp, Russell, Rupert, and Colby make a final 3 deal at night. While everyone is sleeping, Rupert decides to start chopping wood, so Jerry wakes up and goes off to talk to Russell to avoid it. And then Russell claims he's actually not mad that he wasn't chosen for the reward.
It's actually funny to him.
He's actually laughing about it.
He's not mad, he's merely laughing.
At the immunity challenge, they have to hold poles between the back of their hand and a board overhead. And once again, Parvati wins, because Parvati is good at challenges. Was this one of the challenges you really liked? You mentioned before we started that you really liked.
I liked this one. I mean, I liked this one. It didn't stick out, but I enjoyed it. There is something very fun about a challenge as dumb as having to catch water in a bucket that someone throws.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a dumb challenge in a good way. I liked it. But it also says a lot for the challenges to come that this is probably the worst of the challenges that they did.
Yeah, that's fair. I always like challenges like this where they have to use their body in a way they like you can't prepare for, like that. Yeah. Like, I think it's cool. I like it. Parvati wins that one, so that's great. All the villains agree to vote for Rupert. Sandra then tells Rupert to vote for Russell, and then Rupert tells Russell to vote for Sandra. Ay, you know?
I know.
Russell quotes Boston Rob saying, "You're either with me or against me," and then Sandra just says, "I'm against you, Russell."
This was one of my favorite things I've ever seen in Survivor. Sandra just casually saying, "I am against you."
Like, I have nothing to hide anymore. Like, fuck you,
It's great
Russell.
because Russell's threats are all empty.
Mm-hmm.
Because he doesn't even follow his own, like, vendettas. At the last second, he's like, "Oh, I don't know, I guess I'm gonna do this." So, like, you should never be intimidated by him.
Yeah, he's actually not good at this game, which is
He's
very
not a
funny.
consistent player.
I mean, we'll get more into it once we...
Which I think does give him an advantage in some ways, because you can't pin down what he's going to do necessarily, but
Right, which is...
it does cause problems for him when he makes the jury on 2 different occasions.
He didn't make the jury, though.
Or not the jury, I mean the final, when he makes it to final trial.
Sure. Yeah, I think Russell could win this game if he tweaked his game just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
And I will talk more about that once we get into Winners at War, but yeah. Russell, Rupert, and Jerry say they'll vote for Sandra. Parvati assures Sandra that Jerry will vote with them. Sandra says that she might not bring her idol. That's how confident she is. And Thomas, I know how this episode ends. I know how this season ends. That still made me really nervous for Sandra, though.
Yeah, no. It was touch and go there for a second, but she managed to pull it back
Oh
at
no,
the right time.
is Sandra going to get voted out?
That's how you know it's a good season, is it still manages to get you with stuff like that.
Right. At Tribal Council, Parvati says the final 3 needs to be all villains because otherwise a hero would win. They vote. Jeff starts his spiel about idols, but Sandra stands up before he can finish and asks, "Should I let you finish?" And then she plays her idol, which she needed to do because it was the last opportunity. She only gets 2 votes, though, and Rupert gets 4. Are you sad to see Rupert go?
I mean a little bit, but not a lot.
Yeah.
I thought he played a relatively good game. He probably should have tried to make an alliance with Sandra. I think that was his route, and I'm surprised, honestly, that he didn't do it.
Yeah.
Considering that they were in an alliance in their previous game.
Yeah, he just was so into the heroes and villains thing, he couldn't bring
Yep, he
himself
just
to
got
work
a
with
little-
one of them.
He got a little too caught up with that.
Yeah. And I think he realized that at Final Tribal Council.
He did. I really enjoyed his speech he gave.
Yeah. The finale was called Anything Could Happen. How do you feel about that episode title? Pretty run-of-the-mill, I think.
Yeah, they were. They named it that after I don't remember the name of that.
I'm gonna wait for you to get it.
Early 2010s pop star Ellie Goulding, I think is what her name was. Do you remember that song?
I do.
She did that song Lights, which is a much better song.
Yeah, it's one of those pop songs that anything could happen where it's like the first time you hear it, like, oh, this is all right, but then you hear it constantly for
It has a very
year and-
annoying repetitive chorus
Yeah.
that if you hear it in the background of something, you're only going to hear the chorus, and it will make you resent the song.
Seems like a song I'd hear at Target these days.
Absolutely. That is
like
that is
that era.
extremely a song that you would hear at Target.
It's like Target, it's never too old, but it's never modern. It's always just everybody's aware of this song kind of thing.
Jake, I call it Target.
I also call it Target. That's so funny.
Makes me feel fancy when I'm going there.
I love Target. They're opening Target in my neighborhood. And by my neighborhood, I mean like a 20-minute walk down the busiest street in my neighborhood. Which still counts, okay? City living, what do you know of it? Big Apple, baby. This episode first aired May 16th, 2010. How old would you have been on the finale of Heroes vs. Villains, Thomas?
I would have been 18 years old.
I would have been 19 years old. Interesting.
Barely legal, like the Strokes.
You know what Strokes song I just heard yesterday? Because I was listening to my liked songs on Spotify. Sometimes I do that. 'Cause, you just forget what you clicked like on. What's that song? Old Fashioned Man, Modern.
Oh,
Man
yeah,
and
the
Old-Fashioned
Regina
Girl.
Spektor one, yeah.
Oh, is it Regina Spektor? I couldn't tell who the
Yep.
guest was. That's a good song.
It is a good song.
The Strokes.
I agree.
It's a good band. How many viewers do you think this episode got? Remember, the last one got about 13 and a quarter.
13 million. I'm going to say 13.5.
Jesus Christ, Thomas. Price is Right rules, you'd be out of here, but it's 13.46 million.
Damn.
You did really well this season. I'm very impressed. Were you cheating?
Sometimes he... No.
Okay. No? Pete Buttigieg.
I think once you lock down how much they're getting, I got a handle on the rhythm of it.
Sure, that makes sense. At camp, Russell calls Sandra's idol play stupid, which is a dumb thing to say because literally Russell misplays idols all the time.
Also, she
needed to.
It was the only time she could have played it.
Like, you don't know how long she had that idol.
At all. Russell, at a time where he needed to keep, or he probably should have held on to the idol, played it when he got 0 votes against him one time. So maybe he should shut the fuck up.
Russell sucks at this game. Actually, it's so funny to look.
I think that is an exaggeration, but he's nowhere near as good as he thinks he is.
Yes,
I think he is a good player who thinks he's a great player.
His first idol play was a misplay. He was like so paranoid, and his first idol play of all time was a misplay. I found this website yesterday while doing the notes. I'm gonna try to re-find it. That has all the stats for everybody who's played idols. Let me try to find it again because I'm curious what Russell's record actually is, because I don't think I think it's like a third of the time does he get it right. Okay, Russell has played... Okay, he's found 3 idols, and he's played 2 of them correctly. I guess that's not that bad. No, that can't be right.
Yeah.
Oh, that was in 1 season. Okay. And... same thing in Heroes vs. Villains? Oh, whatever. Anyway, the point is, Russell's bad at Survivor, and that was obvious after Redemption Island, which we'll talk about later. Back at camp, they get into an argument, Russell and Sandra, which makes Colby happy because it means that the attention is not on him. Russell wants to take out Parvati and bring Jerry and Sandra to the end. Then we have an immunity challenge, and they have to stack bowls and plates. You liked this one a lot, you said.
This was maybe my favorite challenge in the history of Survivor.
Wow, beating out Samotion even.
Yes.
Wow. Nothing's ever going to beat Samotion.
Samotion is just good and cool, and this one is good and kind of dumb, which is the best combination. It is a silly challenge that is also very good at, it's a suspenseful silly challenge.
Yeah. There should be more of those. I like that.
I really enjoy having to balance a bunch of things that aren't the same shape.
It's very stressful. It's like the opposite of Jenga.
Yes.
That's good. Parvati wins this one too, because she's dominant at everything Survivor. Parvati can't make the merge in 40, right? Like,
I mean, I think they would be stupid to let her in the same way that I think they would be stupid to let Sandra make it.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see who is considered a threat in this season. Back at camp, Colby gathers everybody and tells them that he's not going to scramble and that he's proud to be the last hero standing. And then, in a talking head, he said he's never been able to quit anything, so he made one last attempt. This was a great scene.
Yes. Yes. Very nice.
His confessional, where he gives that speech. Did you notice that the silence, the very, very long silence in the middle of his speech? It's 18 straight uninterrupted seconds of silence.
Yeah, it was great. I appreciated that they just left that in there.
It's fantastic. Like, they could not get away with that these days.
No.
I just really hope they can do...
It's all quick cuts. They wouldn't be able to let it breathe.
They would just cut that out and put 18 seconds of
just
gameplay in.
Survivor editors living in the moment, not a phone in sight.
Although you can edit movies on phones now. They've got iMovie now. So that's something to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it, Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. It's a theme park now? Movies are theme parks? What are you talking about?
Yeah, what? You don't want me to watch a movie on my phone because it'll strain my eyes and I won't be able to see it as well? Fuck
You
you.
think I'm gonna stare at my fucking phone for 3.5 hours, Martin Scorsese? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Martin Scorsese's all, oh, phones are the new movie theater. Get out of
Oh, I
here.
want people to appreciate my movies in the way they were intended to be viewed.
On
Boo.
YouTube, Marty? Come on. YouTube didn't even exist when he started making movies.
Oh, I have respect for this art form, and I don't want it to just be a commercial art form. Boo.
Martin Scorsese's the biggest capitalist of all the movies.
I'm sorry that you're racist against nerds, Martin Scorsese.
If Martin Scorsese is racist against anybody, it's the Irish. You know?
Yeah.
He made a whole movie about how he hates them
How
or
dare
something.
he.
I don't know. I didn't watch it because it's 3.5 hours long.
This fucking spaghetti eater comes in and insults my people.
Yeah. It's all about potatoes over here. Have you seen The Irishman? What is it about? Is it about is it about pasta or potatoes? Is it My
It's
Dinner
about
with
how much-
Andre, but they just have to decide potatoes or pasta the whole time?
It's about how much Martin Scorsese hates the Irish.
So rude. What did they ever do to you, Marty?
De Niro just keeps going around and going, top of the morning, dude. And frankly, that's offensive.
It really is. Look, you can't be racist against Italians, but you can against the Irish, and Martin Scorsese
Yes.
is.
I think we've established that.
So then Colby approaches Russell and tells him to vote for Sandra, which he does consider. Russell, buddy, you should have done that. Colby at Tribal Council points out that everybody wants to sit next to Sandra at the final Tribal Council. They vote, and Colby gets all the votes. And then in his exit interview, he says, "I'm just not destined to win this game," which made me very sad.
Yeah, it was a bummer. He played a good game, but not well enough to win.
Yeah, which, same thing, first time he played. I just think Colby's so great. Like, Colby seems like the archetype that we usually don't like on this show, of just like the all-American jock boy. But I can't help but like Colby, that's all.
No, I like him a lot. I think he's the best version of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I have started theorizing about season 50, because now that we know that 40 is around the corner, we can start thinking what's going to be the next thing, what's going to be bigger than Winners at War, and it's gotta be the Legend season, and I really want Colby to come back for that. Like, he has to.
I'd love to see him again.
Like, he's like in his 50s now, or he would be, maybe his 40s. He was like in his mid 30s during this season.
Yeah, so he's probably early 40s now.
Yeah, well,
Or
mid
mid-40s.
40s, yeah, so he'd be, right? I don't know,
He
math.
can still do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still get out there and do it.
Yeah. Fucking, old Joe, he was 72 when he was on. 71, whatever. Getting it done at 71. I can't believe I still remember that. That was like 5 years ago. But it worked.
Yeah, and then he shot himself to
Then he
death.
shat himself to death.
R.I.P. old Joe.
Shitting yourself to death is the ultimate jail.
Yep, it's true. The body is a prison.
This body is a prison. Back at camp, Russell and Jerry realize they need to win in order to get Parvati out. Otherwise, she will win the game again. Then at the immunity challenge, there's a big maze where they're all blindfolded and then they need to collect 4 necklaces. Did you like this challenge? I love a big maze challenge.
Who doesn't, you know?
It's like in The Shining, remember? The big maze?
Yes. I certainly remember it, and I certainly enjoyed this.
Here's Jeffrey, right?
It's what they're always saying in that.
They're always saying it. I think that this was this as much as fun as this challenge was. I think it was more fun in concept than in practice. When everyone kind of realized, we can just follow each other around.
I think that's fair.
But do you remember the maze challenge? Was it in Ghost Island? Like the really, really big one? That was around the same time as this?
Yeah.
I don't remember what exactly
Vaguely.
they did, but big challenge, big maze. It's good. Let's see it again.
We love a big maze, folks.
We do. Russell wins the challenge. That's all. So now everybody has to come to Russell, which is fitting for this entire season. Russell tells Sandra that he's going to take her to the final tribal council because he thinks he can beat her. And then in the talking head, she says, or no, not in the talking head, to him, she says, "That's fine. I'll take the 100,000. It's like, yeah, all right. You want to take me to the end? Gladly. I'll be there. And then in talking head, she says, "Russell's taking me to the final because he thinks I won't get a single vote." And then she takes a beat and smiles and says, "But I don't know about that."
Yep. Fantastic.
She's so good.
Absolutely fantastic.
I was looking at the Survivor Reddit this morning, and somebody was like, okay, what are the best quotes from all the winners? And a lot of people used that one for Sandra.
It's great.
It's so good. It's just like, I know she said she was confident earlier, but like that is just beaming with confidence without having to say that you're confident. It's great.
That's the thing with Sandra's the epitome of that, because Sandra knows that she always has a move, no matter where she is.
Yeah.
She always has something she can do.
It's incredible. She's fantastic. Russell is not who I meant to say. Parvati and Sandra is the original Aubrey and Michelle. It's like, they both played really good games, and one of them happened to win, and they were both very deserving. And it's going to be a debate literally forever, and I love that.
Yeah. I think Parvati had a very good argument. But I think if I had to vote between them, I probably would have voted for Parvati.
I was going to ask you if you would have voted. I kind of suspected that because I think her game is a game you like a little more than Sandra's.
Yes, but I thought Sandra's was Sandra... I appreciate that Sandra played one of the most subtle games that anyone has ever played, and I do appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
She was given nothing to work with, and she still managed to make it to the end, and I think the way that she was able to make herself appear to be the GOAT, while in fact being in control consistently is very impressive.
Absolutely. At Tribal Council, Parvati says that if Russell wants to redeem himself in front of the jury, he'll take her to the final. So then they vote out Jerry. Which, again, Russell, so dumb.
What are you doing? What are you doing, dog?
He took the two biggest threats to you. They go back to camp. Russell talks about how he's proud of himself for the game he played. And then he and Parvati still bicker. The game is basically over now. Why are you still bickering with each other? At one point he walks off and Sandra and Parvati both look at each other and just laugh at him. And then Sandra burns his hat. And it's just...
one of the... maybe my favorite... This was... I was already having a great time. I think her burning Russell's hat was what cemented this as my favorite season of Survivor I've watched.
I just watched this morning. She said in like a pre-game interview with Entertainment Weekly or whoever that burning Russell's hat was her favorite moment of Survivor of her entire career.
It should be.
It's great. Before we get into Tribal Council, though, final Tribal Council, you know what it's time for.
Time for those wildlife shots.
Wildlife.
Yeah, baby. So we got a shark, not a lot, actually, for the finale, for the last two episodes. We got a shark, we got a crab, we got a bat, and then also something called, this is the Latin name, Emoia nigra, also known as the black emo skink.
Ooh.
Very good name. These lizards have shown up in every single episode, and I have not been able to figure out what it is. I've looked every single week, and I finally figured it out. I was like, I can't let Heroes vs. Villains be over without figuring out what the fuck this lizard is. It's the black emo skink. It can be found...
Fun fact, those lizards are very excited about the MCR reunion tour.
I mean, who's not? The Black Parade emo skink. Yeah. But found throughout the South Pacific. It does not have a Wikipedia article, so I do not have a ton of information on it, but I found some stuff. It's found mostly in forests, sometimes in villages, not recognized as threatened by the IUCN, but in Fiji, certain areas of its population have been destroyed by mongoose, and also cats will prey upon them.
Ah.
They're dark in color, have little slits on the side of their head, which I assume have something to do with breathing. They're about 1.5 inches to 3 inches long. So that's a skink. I think skinks are cool animals. They're like lizards, but weird.
I couldn't agree more.
Skinks are cool. They're like, what if we were somewhere in between...
Lizards are good.
What if we were somewhere in between a snake and a lizard? And evolution was like, I mean, yeah, sure, why not? So now they exist.
Why not both?
Why not both? At Final Tribal Council, Sandra says she's been sole surviving since she lost her alliance. See? This is why she wins. Like, she knows exactly where she is at all times. And she plays in that moment. It's great. Russell literally says, I'm sorry if I offended you.
Unbelievable.
I can't believe he actually uttered those words. Then Parvati buries Russell by saying, Russell was the dragon, and instead of slaying him, I kept him as my pet.
Good stuff.
Parvati, love it. Colby then calls Russell delusional. Coach calls him a little man, which, remember, is what Rob said to Coach when he was voted out.
Also, Coach's thing address was the most self-serving thing I've ever fucking heard.
I really
I'm glad they got him out of the way first.
Honestly.
Because everyone else's were good.
I wonder what the season would have looked like if Coach had made the merge.
I'm fine with him not getting there.
Yeah.
I got as much Coach as I wanted.
Absolutely. Yes. Do you know Coach's...
Before we get further in this, we didn't talk about one of my favorite things in this entire episode, which was them going through the... fitting that the Oscars are tonight, the Oscar, death montage for all of the people that have gotten voted out, which was very fun. And I enjoyed them making fun of Boston Rob. And also I enjoyed the thing Boston Rob said to Sandra that was like, what did he say? He's like, we'll get along because we're Italian and Puerto Rican because it was something like we like both have like short tempers or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
But it was nice. She said that she was very amused by that. I thought
they're the best of friends. Rupert said, Danielle says that Russell, nobody respects your game. Rupert says that lying and being manipulative is easy, and then tells Sandra that she deserves a big thank you for always trying to offer an olive branch.
I like Sandra stressing that of being like, I tried so many times to work with the heroes and they just wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like, I tried to save them from themselves and they would not allow it to happen.
Yeah. I think Rupert's speech is what tipped things in Sandra's favor.
Yep.
I'm very happy about that. They vote. Jeffrey does not get on the Jeff ski in the 10th anniversary season of the fucking show. It's fine.
Unbelievable.
There's still time to do it for 40, Jeff. Let's make it happen. Parvati got 3 votes. Russell got 0 votes. And Sandra got 6 votes. What was your prediction last week?
I thought that Jerry was going to be there and get 1 vote, and I thought Russell was going to get like 2, and then I thought Sandra would get the rest.
Yeah. I was very happy to see Russell get 0. I thought it was very fitting to his
it's
game.
what he deserved.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
he took people for granted. That's what it comes down to, is he viewed everyone else as a pawn, so I enjoyed Parvati, turning Jerry on him, and rightfully so.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on this season overall?
It's my favorite season of Survivor that I've watched.
Hell yeah. I was going to ask you, do you think it's better than Second Chance? But
I do.
Clearly you do, yeah. I was waiting for that moment for you to realize, like, no, this is it. Like, Second Chance is great, but this is the one.
No, it couldn't have ended any better.
Yeah. It's just
it was like a great movie. Give this the Oscar.
Give a 10-year-old season of Survivor Best Picture at the 2020 Oscars. Why not? Everybody else is doing it.
Why not?
Okay, before we move on to Winners at War, I want to credit our intro and outro songs for the season. I don't remember if we did that at the beginning. but we're doing it now. I'm Your Villain by Franz Ferdinand is our intro song.
Great.
And
I really enjoyed that playing in every time.
yes, I forgot how long the build-up in the beginning of that song is. It's like very long, but it was fun. I like that song, and then a cover of Bowie's Heroes by the Wallflowers from the Godzilla soundtrack.
Yep.
It's good. I like that song a lot, too. The bass...
One of the better pairings we've had.
The bass on that... Yeah, absolutely. The bass on that version of Heroes is really good. I like it a lot, and every time I listen back to the episode, I'm like, yeah, I like that a lot. Makes it worth it.
Was it... When we had Pearl of the Quarter, was Sandra's Rose the other song that we did with it? I think it was.
Is that Drake song?
Yes.
Yeah, I know we definitely used...
That was a pairing I was very fond of.
Sandra's Rose for something. I don't remember the season. It was... Whatever, it doesn't matter.
I think it was because it was Pearl Islands, right?
Yes.
That was the first Sandra song we did, and then Pearl of the Quarter was the outro song. So I believe...
Yes.
I think that is maybe my favorite pairing of songs that we've had.
I think this one probably is. Or...
This one is certainly up there.
What was our first one? Holiday in Cambodia, and something else. Oh, James Blunt, right? Oh, no, Second Chance. What was the Second Chance song?
Well, it should have been that Shinedown song that we both like so much, but...
I'm glad we didn't pick that one, actually.
Yeah, I don't remember what the other one was on that one, because the Beauty Brains Brawn was the James Blunt one.
You're beautiful. So I know you always liked when he yelled, "You're fucking high."
Fucking high! Folks, it doesn't get any better than that.
It really doesn't. Holiday in Cambodia, Second Chance. Ah, man. It was something you picked, and I can't remember off the top of my head now, but it was good. We got to pick some new songs for Winners at War. We'll figure it out in the next week. Do you have anything off the top of your head that you're thinking that come to mind? Life during wartime?
There's a lot of different war-related songs that we could do.
What if we did war? What is it good for?
I think that would be fun.
I think that's a very obvious choice.
I didn't rule it out. I had the same thought, and I was like, yeah, it might be fun.
It might be fun, but I think we can do better. Like, what's a Godzilla soundtrack level song about war and winning? Because it can't be obvious. If we were obvious, we would have just done the Heroes by Bowie song. But no, we did the Wallflowers version, which is really fun and has a really good bass line. Do you have anything off the top of your head that you're thinking of right now?
We could do War Pigs by Black Sabbath.
Yeah, or the Cake song. Remember that song?
We could do the Cake version of War Pigs.
Okay.
We could do Cold War by Janelle Monáe.
Oh, yeah. I don't think we've used her before.
I don't believe we have either.
I'm always happy to have more Janelle Monáe in my life. Okay. Well, we'll continue thinking about it over the course of this next week, because right now we need to get into predictions for Season 40. Are you ready, Thomas, for Season 40, Winners at War? Okay. So I have everybody listed by tribe in order of wins, from most to least recent. So we'll start off with the Sele tribe. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but according to Survivor Wiki, in Fijian it means to cut. But then I went through other languages because I think that's fun. In a lot of languages it translates to jelly and sometimes harness. But in Afrikaans it means souls. In Urdu it means crusade. And in Czech it does in fact mean piglet, which is very funny to me.
Yeah.
So the first piglet is Ben Driebergen. You remember Ben, right?
How could I forget him? The winner of Triple H.
Yes, indeed. He did in fact play the game.
The Triple H of Triple H.
Yes, absolutely. What do you remember about Ben's game outside of all of his idols and fire making?
I think socially people liked him just fine. I think that is something I remember about it.
The people in the game?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess...
He did. I'm not saying he played like an adept social game, but I don't think anybody was terribly mad at him about anything.
I think by the end, Chrissy did not care for him.
No, but I also think Chrissy didn't like a lot of people.
Chrissy and Ryan had a good relationship.
They did. I'm glad that someone enjoyed that relationship.
I honestly couldn't tell you who took 5th place in that season. I know Devin was out at 4 because of the dumbfire making challenge. He should have.
Yep.
Do you think we would like Triple H more if Devin had won? Probably, right?
Probably.
Ben played 3 idols in a row his season, avoiding elimination twice. Next most recent winner is Adam Klein. He played in Millennials vs. Gen X and won that season. He listened to this show during that season.
He did, and let me tell you, more people should follow suit.
Mm-hmm. He's the first.
That's how you win.
He is the first recipient of the
Adam Sandler meme. This is how I win, by
bump.
listening to this show.
Indeed. Played 2 idols in his season, one for Hannah, although he did not need to play it for her, she was fine, and the other one he played for himself, which he also did not need to. How are you feeling about Adam's chances on this game?
He's a good player, you know? I think he could do well. The one thing that he has going against him this time around is that he does not have that slam dunk tribal council, just like put it away kind of thing. Because as soon as he got to tribal council, he had the narrative.
Yeah.
And I think he's happy not to have another iteration of something like his mom having cancer. But
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he plays without that motivation. I'm interested to see how he comes across. I think he has a good chance though.
Yeah.
I think he's like a likable guy, right? You were not a fan of him when we first saw the cast of Millennials vs. Gen X.
Yeah, I think I was unfair to him.
Yeah.
I think I really came around on him by the end there.
Speaking of people you're unfair to, next most recent winner is Michelle Fitzgerald, who won Co-Wrong, deservedly
Michelle's
so.
a great player.
Love Michelle.
She's a very good player.
Probably the most deserving winner of any season ever, right? You would say that?
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but she was not an undeserving winner.
Up next is Jeremy Collins, who won Second Chance, played in Season 29, San Juan del Sur, and 31, Second Chance. Of all of the returning players, he has the 3rd best placement of anybody. 5th, his average placement is 5th between his 2 seasons. The 14th best placement overall. Granted, 11 of those people have only played one time, so their average is 1st.
Yes.
I mean, you know Jeremy. We watched his winning
great.
season. Yeah,
I love Jeremy.
Everybody loves Jeremy.
Similar to Adam, does not have you can't play the my wife's pregnant card.
My wife's pregnant. That's my Borat impression. It's very good. Do you feel like Jeremy's going to do well?
It's very hard to tell how anyone is going to do in this context.
I know.
But I think he certainly could do well.
Yes. Up next is Jeremy Collins' closest ally in his first season, Natalie Anderson, who played in San Juan del Sur and won that season. She played with Jeremy in that season, as well as Keith and Kelly Wentworth, who you know from
that is a
seasons.
Strong alliance of all-stars.
This season is one of my favorite seasons of all time. Natalie Anderson is one of my favorite winners of all time. She has probably what is considered like a top 3, maybe top 2 idol play of all time. Have I told you anything about this season, or have you gathered anything about this season?
Maybe you have. I don't really remember.
She's great. So San Juan del Sur was Blood versus Water season. Her sister was the first person voted out. So then she became close with Jeremy, who was then voted out at the merge. So she played the entire rest of the game to get revenge on the people who voted him out.
Incredible.
It's fantastic. I would highly recommend looking up Natalie Anderson's idol play before. They'll probably show it, but it's so good. She's great. I have very good feeling about her. You don't know her though. We haven't watched her season for the show. Right before we started, well, There was 30, which was poop. It was a bad season. Another Dan who sucks on that season. Denise Stapley won Philippines, which was the 25th season. She is the only person in the history of Survivor to go to every single tribal council her season. It's very impressive. She's very good. Never played an idol, although her season did have them. She voted correctly at all but 3 tribal councils. And then, you know who her closest ally was?
Whom?
Somebody named Malcolm, who she voted out at 4th place.
Wow.
Yep. She's very good, and I have a good feeling about her. Up next, most recent winner is Rob Mariano. You know Boston Rob.
He's Boston Rob, folks.
It's Boston Rob. He won Redemption Island. So played in Season 4, Marquesas, Season 8, All-Stars, and Season 20, Heroes vs. Villains, and then he finally won in Season 40. Nope. Season 22, Redemption Island. It was his 4th time. Probably will not win 40. That would be ridiculous. His average placement is 6th place, which is the 18th best overall of 20 people. Here's everybody he's played with. Obviously, Parvati, Sandra, and Tyson in Heroes vs. Villains. Sandra in Island of the Idols. And Ethan and Amber in All-Stars. And also is married to Amber.
Damn.
So, he's got a lot of people in his corner, it would seem. He's only ever played one idol, which he used unnecessarily. I'm learning, as I was putting this together, is a common feature among people who have played idols in this game and won. They just don't play idols very often. Thomas, if I were to ask you what color Boston Rob's hat is, what would you say?
I would say it's like a navy with the red B.
Mm-hmm. It sure is, until Season 40, where he now wears a red Boston hat with a white,
switching it up,
a white Boston B, and it makes me feel worried because of the times we're in.
It's like Paul not wearing shoes on the Abbey Road cover. Like, did Boston Rob die?
Yes, exactly. Parvati Shallow is the next most recent winner. She won Micronesia, played in 13 Cook Islands, 16 Micronesia, and then obviously 20 Heroes vs. Villains. Her average placement is, of all returning players, take a wild guess what her average placement is. You know, she won Micronesia. She took 2nd in Heroes vs. Villains. So take a wild guess where she ranks on average.
I'm gonna say like 9th because everyone else won.
3rd place. Of her average placement is 3rd place in 3 seasons of playing Survivor. It's the best placement of any multi-time player. She took I think 6th her first time around, and then 1st.
I thought you were saying where it placed among the people in this season.
Oh no, sorry. I meant
3rd makes sense. Yeah.
On average, yeah. She played with Yule in Cook Islands, and then Tyson, Sandra, and Robin Heroes vs. Villains. It's Parvati, you know everything,
folks. It's Parvati.
It's Parvati. What you gonna do? Danny Boatwright won Guatemala. It was the first season with an idol. Has said that she would never return until an all-winners season. She played in the first season to ever have an idol. And you know who had that idol?
Who?
Somebody named Gary Hawkins.
Yeah, Gary Hawkins.
Danny Boatwright is notorious for playing so under the radar that she didn't even let the producers in on her plan or reveal what she was doing in her interviews. And it worked out for her. She won. It's pretty good stuff. And the least recent winner for this tribe is Ethan Zahn. He won in Africa. And then I'll play it again in All-Stars. His average placement is 17th. I think I got that wrong. I think he has the 17th best average placement, but it's something else. I don't know. I don't remember the exact number. He's never played Survivor with an idol or an advantage. So he played with Amber and Rob and All-Stars. Although they were not on the same tribe, he was voted out pre-merge. He currently holds the record for most days removed since he last played. He's just a good dude. Everybody likes Ethan. There was a let's get out the winners kind of initiative in All-Stars, and he was the last winner in All-Stars. So that's saying something, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Ethan's going to do well. Would you rather pick somebody from this tribe to be your person pre-merge, or do you want to go through the second tribe before you pick anybody?
I can pick somebody from this one.
Yeah, who you got?
Tough.
Probably Ben, right? You love Ben.
I'm going to stick with Jeremy.
I had a suspicion you were going to go with Jeremy.
I like Jeremy.
I know I said Natalie is my favorite winner of all time, but
I know who you're going to pick.
who am I going to pick?
You can pick Parvati.
I'm not going to pick Parvati. No way.
Really?
Her threat level is way too high. No, I'm going to pick Denise.
Okay.
I think Denise is going to do really well. No, Parvati is... I don't have faith that Parvati will... If these people are generally pretty smart people, they can't let Parvati make it to the merge. The next tribe is called Dakal. Again, don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. According to the Survivor Wiki, it is a variation on the word Dakai, D-A-K-I-A-I, which is a Fijian word for gun. Season is called Winners at War, so that makes sense. But in a lot of other languages, it translates to agrees or jump. But in Gujarati, it means witch. Like a witch.
All
like
right,
then. I think it's good. The witches versus the piglets. I think that's a good... It's like the XFL in your real life. The most recent winner is Nick Wilson, who won David versus Goliath. You know Nick. He's great. He did a good job. He played with Mike White. How do you feel about Nick's chances?
I think he'll do okay. I don't think he's going to win.
Agreed. Next up. Oh, speaking of Mike White, I went to Cash America yesterday, and I bought a bunch of DVDs for $6 total. One of which was the first season of Survivor, because I was like, why not? And one of them was Orange County, which is a movie I've never seen, but was written by...
Orange County is a fun movie.
Mike White, yeah. I'm looking forward to watching it. Up next is Wendell Holland. Played in Ghost Island, won Ghost Island. He is the second and most recent recipient of the DYWSLN bump. See
My
if
boy right there.
If he does it again. We love Wendell. He's a good dude. Nothing more to say about him, unless you have anything you want to note. But
I like him.
Yeah,
That's all I got to say.
Me too. Wendell, good dude. Game Changers winner Sarah Lacina. She played in 28 Cagayan and 34 Game Changers. Her average placement is 6th, which is the 17th best of all time. Of this cast, I should say. She played with Tony in Cagayan and also in Game Changers, and then also Sandra in Game Changers. She holds the distinction of being the only person on this cast to have ever voted out Sandra. Voting out?
Impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think she's going to do well.
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think she just kind of caught fire that season.
Yeah, things like happened to work out in her favor. Well, within reason. Not saying like she didn't do anything, because she definitely did. She did trick Sierra into giving her legacy advantage before voting her out, which was a very good move. But I don't see how she plays like that again in this season.
No. People know she's coming this time.
Speaking of Cagayan, the next winner is Tony Vlachos, who won Cagayan and then played again in Game Changers. He has the worst overall placement of any multi-season player.
I think he is going to do very poorly. I think he's going to keep up that streak he's on.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where he places, obviously, but I wonder. He said in his pregame interview, like, his performance on Game Changers, like, humbled him. So maybe he's going to go about things a different way this time around, but I don't know. So he obviously played with Sarah and Sandra, which we mentioned already. Also played with just other people you know, Wu, Cass, Tasha, and Spencer, and also Cliff Robinson in Kage-yan.
Sure.
This is what I mentioned earlier. If Russell tweaks his game a little bit, it's Tony's game. Tony played a very aggressive game, and then at the end, he owned it. He was just like, yeah, I did that because I was trying to make it to the end. I'm not going to apologize for, like, lying to get myself to the end and being sneaky. That's what I did, and it got me here, so thanks for the vote. And then he won, so it works. Like, I think Russell is Pikachu to Tony's Raichu. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay. I'm just trying to give you some understanding. And then a point of reference, that's the phrase. War Dog is Pichu.
Sure. Yep. I think that's fair.
Up next is your probably favorite person to ever play Survivor, Tyson Apostle. You love him, right?
Tyson Apostle.
He's good.
Yeah.
He won Blood vs. Water. He played in Season 18 Token Teens, and then again in Heroes vs. Villains, and then again in Blood vs. Water. Has the second worst average placement of any multi-time player. Played 2 idols in his career. One for himself, which he didn't need to do, and one for Jervis, which was also unnecessary. Like, you don't need to be good at idols to win this game. Except Ben, apparently. He played with all the same people from Heroes vs. Villains, as well as Fishback on his first season, who you will remember is Jeremy's close ally in Second Chance. I wonder if they'll bond over that.
The guy who pioneered talking about voting blocks, which stayed in that season, thankfully.
Yeah. What's your favorite, like, single season terminology? Like, Edge had pilots and passengers. They had voting blocks and second chances.
Millennials versus Gen X had being on your damn phone versus...
I mean, that's every day, though.
You know, having a work ethic.
It's ridiculous.
I don't think I like any of the season-specific terminology.
Yeah, they're all bad. They're always bad.
It's never good.
But that's what makes it fun. Kim Spradlin is next. She won One World. People are really worried about her. She's considered like the biggest threat by the rest of the cast. She just dominated the entire game. Has never played an idol, so that's something. Kim's really good. I mean, if you were to pick Kim, I'd completely understand, but also it seems like people are going to be coming for Kim. Sophie played in South Pacific with Coach, season 22. Do you know who Thurston Clark is?
Who is Thurston Clark?
He's like a journalist and author who's apparently pretty well regarded. I've never heard of him, but I was looking at her Wikipedia article, and apparently that's her dad.
Okay.
If you ever see that name, that's who that is. I don't really remember much of her season, but people seem to like her. She played with Coach, so that says something.
Yeah.
Coach took second place in that season, I think. Amber Mariano won All-Stars. She played in Australia and then again in All-Stars. Average placement is third place, second best of all multi-time players. She played with Rob and Ethan on All-Stars, as well as Colby and Jerry in Australia and again in All-Stars. So that's fun. She aligned with Rob early, and they ended up winning because everybody hated Rob by the end. And she's married to him now. Yay. And they have 4 beautiful daughters who they feel so bad about leaving. Did you know that? Did you know they have 4 beautiful daughters who they feel so bad about leaving?
Yes, I've heard something to this effect.
They're just really good parents that Survivor brought together, and we love them. We love Rob and Amber. And the last winner we will discuss today is somebody named Sandra Diaz-Twine. You know her as the winner of Pearl Islands and the winner of Heroes vs. Villains. And then she also played a game in Game Changers, which technically counts. Average placement of 5th place, 15th best overall, 4th best of returning players. She played with all the people we mentioned before. It's the fucking year of Sandra. What do you need to know about Sandra you don't already know? Who's your pick, this tribe?
I'm going to pick Yule.
Yule is a really good pick. I'm going to pick... I want to pick Sandra, but I know that's stupid.
Yeah, I don't look. I want to pick someone else, and if Sandra gets him out and keeps going, I won't be mad.
Fair. I'm going to go with Wendell.
That was if it wasn't Yule, it was going to be Wendell. So, I hope we both get all of the points from them up to the merge.
You know who my second choice was?
Who?
Tyson.
Okay.
But I don't actually want to see that.
Nick and Tyson being on the same tribe is kind of interesting because I feel like they play kind of similarly.
How so?
I think just in terms of like, I think they get in there for alliances, but they also are kind of slippery about it.
Okay. I think Tyson is more slippery than Nick. I think Nick comes at alliances with a genuine want to have that connection.
I mean, Nick promised taking people to the end to like 10 people.
Well, the end was 10 people to him. He thought the game ended at the merge. He was like, wait, there's more? Okay, what tribe do you think is winning the first reward? One of these tribes looks a lot stronger than the other.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick DeCall.
Really? I was going to say Sele was the stronger tribe. What do you think the reward... So I'm picking them to win reward, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What do you think the reward will be? Remember, first episode of the season.
Tools to build a shelter.
Classic. I'm going to go with Flint.
Okay. That's always good.
Yeah. Who's winning immunity?
I'll say Sele or whatever is...
Yeah, I'm going to go with them as well. Who's getting voted out?
I think Tony's getting voted out.
I think Sarah's getting voted out.
Okay.
Will the person voted out go to the edge of extinction?
Oh, I forgot about this shit. Yes, Tony will absolutely go to Edge of Extinction.
Yeah, everybody's going to edge of extinction. This
I
is
think
just a free
everybody
point every single
I
week.
think everyone is going to go, yes.
Okay, Thomas, and new point for this season. I told you a few weeks ago I came up with a new idea for a new point, and this is sort of like a legacy advantage point. Who's going to be the steak authority this season? Will it be Outback Steakhouse? Will it be Chili's? Will it be
I like
Burger King?
this. Applebee's.
Will it be
Last time
Applebee's?
around.
Yes.
Man, I really like this.
We got to pick now, and you'll get the point whenever it's revealed.
Man, who is it gonna be?
It was Applebee's last season, so I think that's a pretty solid pick.
I'm wondering if it's gonna be like a meal or if it's gonna be like, because it's just any reward they get with product placement.
Yeah, let's call it the
right?
product placement point. The triple P. I was imagining that reward, like the restaurant we all go to, but hey man, if you want to pick
Yeah.
fucking Sears, who I don't think exists anymore.
No,
Barnes
Well, I'm
and
saying,
Noble,
like-
you get a box of books.
I don't know why this keeps popping to my head, but I'm gonna say Duncan is
Oh,
gonna be a reward. for
interesting
the kid.
choice. I like it. Okay. I have a feeling it's going to be Chili's.
It's not an unreasonable thought.
I feel like they've had Chili's before. Although if Applebee's was smart, they would come back because they got a lot of press in the Survivor
That's true.
community for last season, mostly because Karishma loves them so much.
Yeah.
It's just her favorite sit-down restaurant.
Yeah, she gave him the same bump that Sandra gave Outback in Heroes vs. Villains.
Yeah. Man, the Steak Authority.
Steak Authority, baby.
You know what? Wishful thinking. I'm saying Steak Authority is going to be the Steak Authority again. Outback
It would be
Steakhouse,
really
baby.
fun. It would be really fun to see the Steak Authority back again.
That's good. All right, we're coming in on the last season of the Year of Sandra. Use the hashtag #YazQueen on social media. Winners at War. It's in 3 days, baby. I've been waiting for this for 20 years, more or less.
What a sad life you've led.
Oh yes. You can follow us on Twitter at DYWSLN.
Follow me at TomNotTom.
You can follow me at Jake Scheidel. You can review us on Apple Podcasts. Thomas, it's the last one for Heroes vs. Villains. So let's give all our new listeners what's it? Do the thing for the review.
Yeah. 5 stars only. This is the boilerplate review.
Thank you.
This is my favorite podcast. I like it better than all of the other podcasts. I give it a big thumbs up.
And it's required that you write that if you're going to write anything. Otherwise, we will delete the review. We will email Apple and say, please take this one down. It's not what we asked for.
Similarly, I will say, as I did last week, if any of our listeners are in New Hampshire Tuesday, go out and write on that ballot under the name Bernard Sanders. Right?
Yes,
this
please.
is my favorite candidate. I like him better than all of the other candidates. I give him a big thumbs up.
If you write on a ballot, does it void the ballot?
I think if you check it, it's fine.
Okay. It's like money.
I don't know that you want to tempt fate with that, but just bring that sentiment into the ballot box.
Yeah. Put whatever you want in the ballot box. America's fake.
Yeah.
Nothing matters. Put a fucking ham in
Yeah.
the ballot box. Literally, it doesn't matter anymore. Do they even have ballot boxes? More like ballot apps. These
Let's say
goddamn
that they do.
millennials.
I want to believe that they still do.
X-Files.
The America that I know has ballot boxes.
All right. Well, have a great summer.
Deuces.
I wish you could swim like the dolphins, like dolphins can swim. No, nothing will keep us together. We can beat them forever
Hooray!
We did it.